Hey guys, thanks for joining me today, Ross Marcogiani, on another great topic at revowell.com. So today we're going to be talking about our bone health. What we're going to dive into is what are some issues with bone health, or what are some associations with bone health? What exactly is the mechanism or the pathology to bone health? What are those common mistakes or common misconceptions that are going on, and how to treat our bone health? So let's get ready and let's dive in. So first, when we're talking about bone health, we have to talk about osteoblast formation and osteoclast formation. So here we have our teeter-totter. And before the age of 40, we have this level teeter-totter here. And we have osteoblast. I like to think B for build. So osteoblast is going to take calcium that's out of the blood and put it to the bone and build the bone. Osteoclast is going to be our breaking down. So it's going to take the bone, break it down, and put calcium back into the blood to deliver to other places, such as muscles, for contraction and activation. But both are critical to having good bone health. After we reach the age of 40, as we get to the age of 40 and over, we start to see a shift in that blast-clast activity. We have more clastic activation and less osteoblast activation. So we're doing more bone breaking down than we are building. And conventional medicine will measure this through typically what's called a DEXA scan, which is dual energy X-ray absorption. And they're going to look at T-score and Z-score. So they'll look at mainly at the T-score, and they'll see if you have a level between -1 and -2.5. And that's going to indicate that you have osteopenia, the onset of osteoporosis. If you have a T-score of -2.5 or higher than -2.5, you're considered to have osteoporosis. The thing with me is, when you hit that number, you have to have lost 30 to 50% of your bone mass. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be getting to that number and going, oh no, I've lost all this bone mass. I want to, nip that in the bud before I've even come close to that number. So what we'll talk about are two hormones that are really critical in maintaining our bone health. We have the thyroid, which is going to release calcitonin, which is going to take calcium out of the blood and put it back into the bones. And then our next one, which is really important, which we're going to dive into, is our parathyroid hormone. This is going to take, it's going to activate osteoclast and going to take that calcium from the bone and deliver it into the blood again, so we can take care of muscles, take care of mitochondria, and all of those good body processes. So we have this mechanism here, which is called the phospholipase C mechanism. So basically what happens is we have our fire alarm, our sensor here, so to speak. And our sensor isn't going off. So it tells the body, if it's not going off, we need to be releasing parathyroid hormone from the parathyroid. This parathyroid hormone is going to activate osteoclastic activity. So it'll tell the bone to release calcium into the bloodstream. It'll tell the kidneys to release calcium in the bloodstream. And here's the key point here. Here's the take home. The kidneys will also will release vitamin D, which will go to the stomach. Then once that vitamin D enters the stomach, it will then tell the stomach to absorb our free circulating calcium. So it takes the calcium, can absorb it correctly, and then put it into the blood, where it then can be deposited again to the muscle, to the bone, for activation and building. The key point here is, if we don't have good stomach functioning, if we have leaky gut, if we have low pH, if we have parasites and infection, bacterial overgrowth, leaky gut, gluten sensitivity, the list goes on and on, we're not going to be able to absorb that calcium correctly. So I like to look at it as this. Think of, if you've ever seen those videos where they set up, these bunch of these mechanisms that trigger another mechanism. So for example, like a ball rolls, hits a pan, then hits a bunch of dominoes, the dominoes hits this roller skate, and on for mechanisms. So I like to think, the kidneys is that ball that starts to roll. The vitamin D to the stomach is the ball rolling. And then if we don't have good stomach functioning, if we have a lot of permeability and those other attributes I talked about, we're not going to be able to let that ball hit the dominoes and trigger the next mechanism. So if we don't have that, we're not going to get the correct absorption. Next, we're going to talk about some common misconceptions. So conventional medicine, does a lot of prescribing with antacids, such as our Prilosec, our Nexium, our Prevacid. We prescribe a lot of antibiotics, such as tetracyclines. We'll do a lot of diuretics, which will be our Lasix, our Bumex. It will do our anti-inflammatory drugs, which will be our NSAIDs, our Advil or Aleve. But these are all going to be drugs that are going to affect our calcium balance. And it's going to shift us to not having good bone health. So it's good to be aware of that. Also, hormone replacement therapy. This is something that I'm going to dive into more detail on another video. But doing hormone replacement therapy, using our Fosamax, using our Boniva, which is going to affect and just something we want to stay away from when it comes to bone health and our hormonal health. Again, I'll talk to more detail about that. So that's things that we want to avoid. So try to just be aware of that. Next, we're going to go into our treatment here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to look at the body systems. We're going to look at the thyroid, making sure that the thyroid is producing good calcitonin, that we're producing good TSH, T3, T4, reverse T3, making sure that that thyroid is functioning correctly. Next, we'll look at the parathyroid, making sure that we don't have hyperthyroidism, which is going to be signs of our stones, bones, and groans. Stones for kidney stones, bones where we have brittle, weak bones, and groans for constipation. So making sure that we're having good parathyroid function, making sure this mechanism is running correctly. Next, we're going to go down to our food. It's really important that we're having a good, clean, healthy diet to increase our vitamin C and increase our vitamin D. So some food, a lot of people think when they think about vitamin C, they think about dairy, they think about milk. But this is a common misconception because vitamin C is very biounavailable in dairy and in milk. So you kind of want to stay away from that. We want to lean towards more foods like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, blackstrap molasses is a good one that people don't know about, lima beans, our fish. These are all going to be sources really good high in vitamin C. Next, obviously, our supplements, making sure we're taking vitamin D. If you want to know more about vitamin D, tune into my other video that talks about it from top to bottom. So good vitamin D, good vitamin C, taking our cholecalciferol, taking our chondroitin sulfate, just making sure we're taking supplements that are going to be supporting all the other attributes that we're doing. So that's the key point that we wanted to get at today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and thank you for tuning in and spending your time with me today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at info@revowell.com, or if this triggered some more knowledge or more that thirst for knowledge, please tune into my website at www.revowell.com, and I have plenty of content on there and have a blast at it. But thank you, and if you guys know anyone out there that can benefit from this information, please share, because we're all in this together to be healthier and happier. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.